Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to look at biochemistry. And what is biochemistry? Biochemistry is the study of living organisms using a molecule. So we are understanding on life processes at molecular level. And this life, as we are seeing, each and every living organism is started from atoms. Atoms. That is carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, hydrogen. And these molecules, when we have them, so these atoms form a simple molecules. Like for example, as I said, when you have something like carbon, oxygen, then nitrogen, hydrogen, these are atoms. And then these atoms form what we call a molecules. Then these molecules will form what we call a monomers, a monomers. They form what we call monomers. And these monomers, we have like amino acids, fatty acid and glycerol, nucleotides, carbohydrates, nucleotides, simple sugars. So these are the examples of the monomers. And of course, it's these monomers that will form what we call macromolecules or biomolecules of life. These are the biomolecules of life. And what are these biomolecules of life? We have lipids, we have nucleic acids, and then we have carbohydrate and proteins. And each of these macromolecules or biomolecules have their own monomers. An example of monomers of of lipids is fatty acid and glycerol. Is fatty acids and glycerol is fatty acid and glycerol. Then for the nucleic acid is nucleotides, So we have nucleotides. Then for carbohydrate, we have simple sugars like glucose, simple sugars like glucose. Glucose is a monomers of carbohydrate, and of course proteins is amino acids. And then the next thing after this biomolecules that actually form the fundamental of life is supramolecular complexes, supramolecular complexes. Of course, we have its supramolecular structure. So these supramolecular structures, we also have them. And the example of supramolecular complexes or structures, we have ribosome. Ribosome is a supramolecular structures. And we also have cytoskeleton. Cytoskeleton is also an example of supramolecular complex, which is actually formed from these biomolecules. But now how these biomolecules form these supramolecular complexes is through non-covalent forces. Non-covalent forces. An example of non-covalent forces, we have hydrogen bonding, non-covalent forces. We have what you call hydrogen bonding and van der Waals force of attraction. So it's through hydrogen bonding and the van der Waals force of attraction of the biomolecules that produce the supramolecular structures. And then from the supramolecular structures, the next thing that we have is the organelles of the cell. We have organelles of the cell. And remember, organelles of the cell, we have something like nucleus, we have mitochondria, we have Golgi body. All of them are the examples of organelles of the cell. And of course, it's the organelles of the cells and the cytoplasm that form the cell itself. So I think from this slide, you will be able to understand that life is actually starting from atoms. Life is starting from atoms, starting from nitrogen, oxygen, and then they will form what you call simple molecules. And then from the simple molecules, we'll have what you call monomers. And then monomers, we have examples of them, as I mentioned, nucleotide, fatty acid, and glycerol. In the case of lipids, nucleic acid, nucleotides, simple sugar, we have something like glucose. Then also we have amino acid in the case of protein. We have amino acid in the case of proteins. So these are the monomers, and then the monomers also form what you call biomolecules or macromolecules. And these macromolecules, through non-covalent bonding like hydrogen bonding, form what you call supramolecular complexes. An example of these supramolecular complexes, we have cytoskeleton and ribosome. And then the next thing after this, the next thing after supramolecular complexes is organelles of the cell. And from the organelles of the cell, and we have the cell itself. And so we have some other we have some other pathogens that we some of us are thinking that they are living organisms, but they are not organisms, because virus and prions are also example of this supramolecular complexes. So you see, supramolecular complexes is not actually reach the level of cell. And remember, from basic knowledge of biochemistry, from the basic knowledge of biology or cellular biology, that anything below cell cannot sustain life. And that is the reason why virus is obligate intracellular parasite. Also, prions is obligate intracellular parasite, because they cannot survive cannot survive alone, because they lack the machineries for the survival. So therefore, they depend on other organisms for their survival. And because this is why they are considered as a particle. So they are particle. They are just a simple combination of biomolecules. Of course, some virus is just you have the nucleic acid. For the nucleic acid, we have two types of nucleic acid, and this nucleic acid we have DNA and RNA. And of course, for virus, you cannot find a virus to have both DNA and RNA. They can either have DNA or RNA, and this RNA will just form this DNA. If it is a DNA virus, will just form if it is just DNA virus, it's just a combination of this DNA and the glycoprotein complex. Glycoprotein complex, glycoprotein. You see, just DNA plus glycoprotein complex will form a virus. That is all the molecules. Usually, these are the kinds of biomolecules that are found in most of these virus. So if it is DNA, it's just the DNA plus the glycoprotein complex, then you will get what we call the virus. And then if it is RNA virus, it's just the RNA with the glycoprotein complex. Remember, when you said glycoproteins, means sugar and proteins. So combination of sugar and proteins will form what you call glycoproteins. So when you have this DNA plus glycoproteins, you have virus. So if you have RNA plus glycoproteins, you have what you call the virus also. So it's truly speaking, most of the viruses that are actually dangerous that cause most of the disease, like coronavirus, HIV virus, Ebola virus, and Lassa virus, they are all have RNA. So they are called RNA virus. So that is why we are also going to look at the genome. In the genome, we have four types of genome. We have prokaryotic genomes, and we have eukaryotic genomes, and we have organelle genomes. And then we also have what you call, apart from the organelles genome, we also have what you call for the organelles genome, then we also have viral genome. And for the viral genome is divided into two. We either have viral RNA viral genome or DNA viral genome. So just it's either you have DNA or RNA in the case of viral genome. So that is why we said it's a particle, because this is glycoproteins is a biomolecules. DNA is a biomolecule. So you just have combination of DNA and glycoproteins through hydrogen bonding. through hydrogen bonding, then you have virus. So that is why we said they are supramolecular complexes. And one very interesting thing in biochemistry or in biology, we studied molecules of lower, we studied molecules of course, smaller range, starting from 0.1 nanometer. We study molecules starting from 0.1 nanometer to 10 meter. Yeah, from 0.1 nanometer to 10 meters. So we study from a very simple molecules up to, or from a very small particles, like starting from atoms of 0.1 nanometer up to 10 meter, like for example in humans. So look at it, we study, like we started from atoms, then small molecules. You see, we also have lipid and proteins, which is the macromolecules. Then we go to the ribosome and virus. So the ribosome and virus are supramolecular complex. Then you go ahead, starting from 1 micrometer to 100 micrometer, where we study the organelles of the cells, and these organelles of the cells comprises of nucleus, then the next thing after the nucleus, and of course some bacteria. They are also some of the bacteria, we consider them as under organelles of the cell, because there is even this concept of evolution that the mitochondria is actually coming from bacteria. That is, yeah. And then the nucleus mitochondria, we study them. Then the next thing we study cells, like eukaryotic cells. And then we go back, we go up to the tissue level, then the organ levels, and up to the organisms level. And of course, this is what we do in biochemistry. So ladies and gentlemen, I think you appreciate this, and I'm going to introduce you to the next video. Thank you.